welcome to Cooking with Ava. Today I'm going to teach you one thing you should be doing with your Tigernut Atadwe, aside you just chewing and throwing away all the chaff, which is also good for your body. So this is a Tigernut chips or cookies or biscuits or how you want to call it. Let me know what name you think it deserves. Yes, but this is from Tigernut, your own Atadwe, which is very much high in nutrients, very good with fiber, which is good for your digestion, good for your body, and it's good for those who are lactose intolerant and things, because this is plant-based as well. So Tigernut powder is going to go in. I'm going to add in some pastry flour or baking flour. Flour would help it bind because flour has a bit of gluten, which Atadwe doesn't have. Then I'm going to add in some salt to taste. Yes, just a little bit of salt in there, and sugar or any sweetener of your preference, whether it's stevia, whether it's sugar, whether it's honey, whether it's dates, any sweetener of your choice. It's actually optional. If you don't want it, you can avoid it as well. I'm going to incorporate all of this together, and then one thing you need to know about Atadwe Atadwe powder is that usually, for Atadwe milk, we just squeeze out the milk or juice out the milk and then we throw the chaff away, which is not the best. For the powder, what you do is you crush the Atadwe, the tiger nuts, you dry it, and then you actually would mail it or powder it into this form. So that's where we got this from. Then I'm going to add in fat and oil. So I use coconut oil. You can use margarine, butter, anyone that works for you. Then I'm adding in some essence to improve on the, that vibe, how well it's going to smell out as well. So the fragrance also helps with the essence in there. At this point, I'm going to put that whisk away and then just go in with my hand and mix everything up very well. So you want to incorporate this in beautifully. Make sure that there's no lumps. Make sure that everything is well incorporated. Everything is all mixed properly all through the thing. Then you're going to add in water in bits. You don't really need so much water for this because if it's too watery, you won't get that crunchiness in there. And you want to get that crunchiness if you are doing chips or cookies, that thing. So it's just bits and bits of water. One thing you should know is that Atadwe, even though the powder is voluminous or looks bebre, it's yeah, so the Atadwe powder or the Tigernut powder, yes, it has a lot of airspace and stuff. A little bit of water would make it form into a good dough. So you don't really need so much water in there. So I'm just going to be kneading or mixing this up till I form a very good dough. Yes, just one, organized good dough of Atadwe in there. Yes, so you can knead this up just to activate a bit of the gluten in that flour. So yes, you can just knead this just a bit up and then get it in. So you realize that yes, the dough has formed beautifully. Yes, like I said, remember, less water. Don't let water disgrace you with this recipe. So once you are done with this, I'm just going to set it apart and then let it actually rest so that the Atadwe would, pick up the water in the, and then it would also rest. It's good whenever you let your dough rest before you cut it out, especially for any pastry something. So yes, I'm going to just cover this up and let it sit down. 10-15 minutes is good. Once you come back to it, I'm going to then proceed to work on it on my working surface. So what I tried to do initially was to just roll it out initially with I just tried to roll it out initially, but I realized it was flaking, so it wasn't working. And mind you, this day I couldn't find where my rolling pin was, and you can actually do rolling without rolling pin. Yes, I remember one time my co-editor called. He was like, I'm trying to bake something. I can't find any rolling pin. What do I do? I was like, get a bottle and use it. So yes, I used a bottle for this one. Yeah, so what I tried to do was to make sure that it's as compact as possible because it can easily break apart, especially when you're making it. So you want to be very gentle with it and you want to be pushing it all together, making it as compact as possible as you are working on it. You realize that when I try to turn, it tries to kind of break, but I'm using my hand to actually put it together to get it to be that compact or that good shape for me to actually cut it up. So you need to be very much careful with this. This needs a bit of that technique, else you're going to disgrace yourself when you're making it. So once this is done, I'm just going to cut it up, and you want to cut this into very nice thin chips, but not overly thin, because if it's overly thin, it's going to break. So you need to be very mindful of it. So I tend to do it into these strips, then I cut it again like this. So you're going to get it, in a good shape, in a good size, beautiful. This is a rectangle. Yes. Oh, yeah. So I baked this in the air fryer. Yes. So I just place it in my air fryer basin. Then you also want to be mindful that you don't want to overly load it. Yes. And the ones when you put the first set in the air fryer, you can just cut the rest out as well, so that it doesn't waste your time in there as well. And do well to separate it. Don't let it stick to each other, else you're not going to get very good result. You can also use this in your oven. You can use it in your air fryer. And later I just clicked, like, why am I even taking this thing one? I could just put them together and just cut across it. Adrena and Bantam, but it later came. Better late than never. So yes, I'm just going to cut this up so that by the time the first set is done, I just drop the second set in and I'm good to actually go. Like I said, you can use your oven. Just make sure you preheat your oven at 250 or 200, so that it's hot enough. And then once your chips goes in, you can then reduce it for 180 degrees. If you are using the air fryer, it's pretty much easy. All you need to do is to use the cake function, which is for 20 minutes at 170 degrees Celsius. And midway in the baking process, halfway in there, you can just shake things up and turn things up so that the other part also gets that brownness and that driedness. Else you get one part looking very nicely browned and the other part not looking that brown, because for air fryers, you always get that brownness on top and not at the base. So that's the trick to it. But if you see your oven too, 180 degrees for 15 minutes is always a good deal for your chips. Yes. So once this is done, this looks already beautiful, smells good, tastes good. I'm just going to transfer it into my plate, and then the next set goes in same 20 minutes for 170 degrees with the air fryer. Then it's a good deal. So this one, you realize, is still crunchy, it's okay, it's tasty, it's healthy, and yes, Atadwe is not only for Atadwe milk. So till I see you in the next video, please, I hope you subscribed and I hope you liked this video. So give me a thumbs up for the like session. Leave a comment if you have any comment. And yes, you can package these for your events, for your fridge, that thing. You can share this as well. And please, till I see you in the next food video, live life to the fullest. Be joyous, be merry. Lots of love for my team and I. Mwah.